Hello all you freaks out there on the internet, it is I, the athletic brony, FritzRolle732, and welcome back to another episode of FritzRolle732's MLP Grimdark Fanfic reviews. Now for this episode, we got ourselves a pretty short story, you guys. The trees are screaming. So, with that being said, let's get down to this episode. To start off with story details, it's pretty basic, you guys. The story starts off with Apple Bloom getting a new diary, and the first couple days that she uses it, it starts off normal. But then, after that, stranger things started to happen. Oh, come on, that was a good pun. You know what, screw you guys. Moving on. To start things off with the strange things that started to happen, Winona starts barking at something, but then when Apple Bloom checks out what Winona is barking at, nothing is there. And then after that, she starts getting the feeling that something is watching her. She doesn't know what, but something is watching her. Then, a couple days afterwards, Winona starts to run away and disappear into the Everfree Forest. So who better than the Cutie Mark Crusaders to go investigate, find Winona, and bring her home. However, their journey takes a turn for the worse, you guys, because what happens is Apple Bloom starts to see something move. So her and the rest of the Crusaders start to go off the trail. And sure enough, a branch comes falling down and starts to impale Sweetie Belle. And then after Apple Bloom and Scootaloo see that, they both try to run. But then all of a sudden, a vine starts wrapping around both of their back hooves. And the worst part about the vines is that they are covered with thorns, and it is stabbing through their skin and their coats and everything around their leg. Apple Bloom manages to get out alive. As for Scootaloo, she was not that lucky, you guys. The vine started wrapping around everywhere in her body, around her neck, causing her to suffocate, and around everywhere else, so tight that Apple Bloom started to hear bones crack. And so Apple Bloom, afterwards, ran into a cave to seek shelter. She was only there for a while, but then after that, she was down to her last moments of life, you guys, and she was writing down the last words and the last notes on her diary. And then after that, oh no, they're coming. The trees are coming. The trees are screaming. And then you hear, or something like that. I don't know. I can't do voice impressions to sound effects. I can't do that. Oh, at least I tried. And then the scene cuts into black. And the final scene in the story, you guys, is a short conversation between Applejack and Twilight. Twilight tells Applejack that Apple Bloom carried a book with her throughout the journey. And Applejack's like, my sister carried a diary? Does it say anything of what happened to her? Yes. And so ends The Trees Are Screaming. So yeah, not really that much of a story to it, you guys, but it's still pretty interesting to read. However, here are my overall thoughts about it. Even though I love the type of writing that it uses, it's still just really short. It's still pretty damn short for me to, enjoy it, because I'm really more into like the longer, lengthier types of stories, you guys, because if it comes to stories like this, The Cough and all that, it's just, I don't know. I kind of have mixed to negative opinions between those stories because of the fact of, how long it is and all that. But I can't blame the writer for it, because I do really like this type of story where it's just, it's just a person writing, certain events in a diary, and then it leads up to stranger things and all that. I gotta say that's a pretty interesting concept. But still, overall, just nothing too exciting, nothing too, gory. But the thing is, when it comes to Grimdarks, they don't all have to be gory. It doesn't have to all be like cupcakes. It just has to have a terrible and bad ending. That's pretty much what the definition of Grimdark is, but still, it would have been great if we actually, got more scenes with Sweetie Belle's death and Scootaloo's death. Instead, it's just Apple Bloom telling the audience in her diary what's happening and all that, and, whatever. But overall, if I had to give a rating on it, I'd give it a 1.25 out of 5. I gotta give it something somehow. But no disrespect to the writer, though. It's an interesting story in some way. It's just not to me. I'm just not a fan. But oh well. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you guys have checked out the fic or checked out Lost Narrator's reading to the fic, click down into the comments below of your thoughts about it. So in this episode, even though this fic did turn out disappointing, but don't worry about it too much, you guys, because in the next episode, it will definitely be more exciting because we're about to take a trip in our favorite rocket ship. And I ain't talking about no little Einstein's piece of shit. I'm talking about the rocket ship. The rocket ship to insanity. That's a wrap, everyone. See ya.
Pointless to analyze what we cannot energize. Hatred is steering me wrong because the hope is all